indeed, these are the very issues that were the subject of deliberation, discussion in Energy Committee, and some not completely unfounded. I believe when the bill was heard and voted on, I supported it in committee and support it here today. It's in a recognition that this bill, as the author acknowledged in committee, is a little bit of a work in progress. I support her concept at its core, but the two issues that I wanted to highlight. One, the cost-shifting argument that Senator Wright made. There's differing opinions on whether through this program those costs are shifted to other customers or not. The counter-argument has been, well, there may not be a specific transmission and distribution line item in the electricity bill for participating customers. There are other customer charges that do apply that offset those transmission and distribution costs that are still borne by the grid overall for people participating under this program. And so I believe committee staff, my staff, the author staff, and others are still working their way through the specifics to address that point. Second, while Senator Wilk's bill will expand the eligibility for participation of this program and of this fund, I think she's very clear that she's not trying to raise the cap on the fund, and therefore doesn't have a fiscal impact. So in isolation, I think the bill is okay. I do think that this bill and others raise a general issue and concern that the committee is tracking and will probably be having informational hearings to deal with in the next several months of a cumulative impact of all these programs on rates and on rate payers. I mean, it would be easy to see a scenario where by opening the door to participation of larger capacity units through this program, while leaving the cap in place, doesn't mean raising the cap, but will certainly lead to pressures to raise the cap on capacity and on costs in coming months, if not coming years. So again, I think a significant comprehensive issue that needs to be dealt with, and I believe Senator Wilk is committed to addressing those. Thank you.
Additional testimony. Members, Senator Blakesley.
Thank you. Yes, we heard this bill in committee, and I just wanted to provide a quick rationale on why I thought it was not only supportable, but actually a very good bill. We currently have a 5% allocation for net metering, and some of the comments against this bill speak to this larger question of whether folks do or don't like net metering. Under SB1, the Million Solar Roof program, that net metering policy was enacted, but it was done so fairly narrowly, applying only to a couple of renewable technologies. There have been technologies which have come on stream which frankly deserve an opportunity to compete in the marketplace and not be at a disadvantage to wind and solar. That's biogas and biomass and renewable fuel cells using renewable fuels, even microhydro potentially. And our goal here is to ensure we have a level playing field for these new emerging renewable technologies and do it in a way that does not create new costs because we're not changing the cap that already exists, and frankly, a cap which we're not close to hitting. Last time I checked, we're at about 3.1%. The cap, I believe, is set all the way up at 5%, and the cap was established some time ago. So I think the bill is fully supportable. It helps this legislature avoid the paradigm of picking winners and losers. It creates a more level playing field, and it gives more choice, especially to folks who are in the agricultural community, to use technologies that are suitable for them and also potentially be diverting waste that would otherwise be lost and produce other environmental problems. So I would urge an aye vote on this bill.
Senator Emerson.
Thank you, Madam President and members. I've heard a number of times over the last couple of days, this is a work in progress. Well, if this is truly a work in progress, I urge a no vote and let's work on it and make it a 2-year bill.
Senator Gaines.
Yeah, I share the same concerns of Senator Wright. It seems to me when we're looking at the cost of transmission, distribution, and meter service, I don't know why the utility is having to pay for that. Why isn't that electricity being sold back to the utility at a wholesale cost, not at the full retail cost? So I urge a no vote.
Members, any additional testimony? Seeing none, Senator Woke, you may close.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill does not deviate from the structure that is set up with regard to the net energy metering program. Cap is at 5. It is restricted at the moment to 2 alternative technologies, and that's solar and wind. What the bill does is to make the 5% cap be technology neutral, so that the other technologies which are coming online with respect to renewable and which are listed in our RPS legislation, like biomass, like microhydro, like others, can be incorporated into the 5% cap. With respect to the cost shifting, nothing changes with respect to net energy metering program. And according to the type of user that we want to encourage, according to the PUC analysis, in fact, allowing these small generators to enter the 5% cap and to be in this market will essentially reduce rates to others. That's a plus, and we ought to be encouraging that. I ask for your aye vote.
Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Calderon. No. Cannella. Aye. Corbett. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Tedlew. Aye. Carol Liu. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Wright. No. Wyland. Wolk. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members. Call the absent members.
Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Carol Liu. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Aye. Walters.
Ayes 31, noes 7. Measure passes. File item 56, Senator Hancock. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 275 by Senator Hancock, an act relating to career technical education.
Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 275 proposes a budget item for 4 career technical education programs, the ROCPs, partnership academies, specialized secondary programs, and agricultural vocational education. This block grant was recommended by the legislative analyst and included in the Senate's budget bill last year, but unfortunately did not make it into the final version of the budget. This approach provides flexibility within the 4 programs, up to 10% of each program's funding and up to 25% between the programs. It is important to note that many partnership academies use ROCP courses within their pathways, and this would facilitate that collaboration for career pathways. The bill also sets up some accountability indicators for our CTE system. It is a remarkable collaboration between career technical education programs. It has received bipartisan support in both the Education and Appropriations committees. In fact, it has received no votes. I would ask you all to continue that with your aye vote.
Discussion, members, any discussion? There were no votes on this. Is there any objection to a unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 39, noes 0. Measure passes. Item 57, Senator Corbett. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 534 by Senator Corbett, an act relating to victims of sexual assault.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Senate Bill 534 assures that a victim of sexual assault shall not be billed directly or indirectly for medical and forensic exams as a result of a sexual assault crime, regardless of their decision to cooperate with law enforcement. Currently, California receives $13 million annually from the Violence Against Women's Act. We are at a risk of losing these funds unless California codifies the provisions of the Violence Against Women's Act. Senate Bill 534 will bring California statute into compliance with the federal law, so we will not be at risk for losing these federal appropriations. Amendments were taken in Senate Appropriations Committee that would allow the Federal Violence Against Women's Act funds that are provided to CalEMA to be available for the use of paying for these very important exams for our victims. This legislation is crucial for victims, for local government, law enforcement, and hospitals, and it's vital that California continues to address the needs of victims and have a fair and consistent practice for funding these forensic exams. I respectfully ask for your aye vote, members.
Discussion, members. Any discussion? Seeing none, I see no votes on this. Any objection to a roll call or to a unanimous vote? Then it's ayes 39, noes 0. And that measure also passes. Next measure is 58, Senator Price. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 538 by Senator Price, enacting to nursing and making appropriation therefore.
Senator Price.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 538 extends the sunset date of the Board of Registered Nursing by 4 years to January 1, 2016. The bill also makes a number of changes to the Nursing Practice Act pursuant to the review conducted by the Senate Business Professions and Economic Development Committee. They include 1, granting the board the authority to hire investigators to have some investigators designated as peace officers. 2, granting the board authority to be the only agency responsible for approving schools of nursing and to receive an appropriate fee for approving these schools. And 3, authorizing the board to issue a cease and desist order to a school of nursing that has not been approved by the board and to inform the Attorney General of a school which continues to operate illegally. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Members, discussion on the item. Any discussion? Seeing none. Objection to a roll call? Call the roll, please.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Weiland. Aye. Yee.
Call the absent members. Call the absent members.
Canella. Correa. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Strickland. Semidian, aye.
Members, that is 31 ayes, noes 5. Measure passes. We are at file item 59. Senator Leno, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 790 by Senator Leno, enacting electricity.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, back in 2002, this legislature enacted AB 117, which put into place a pathway for local governments to be able to implement procurement strategies for reliable, renewable, affordable, and community-supported electrical service. 9 years later, many local battles having fought, the now infamous debacle of Proposition 16, which attempted to place a stake through the heart of community choice aggregation, resoundingly defeated by voters
in spite of the fact that $50 million was invested by PG&E to pass it. Clearly, we need a legislative fix to AB 117 so that the intent of it can be fulfilled. After these 9 years, exactly one community choice aggregation has been put in place in this state, and that is the Marin Clean Energy by Marin Energy Authority. So what this bill does is it updates AB 117 by removing unnecessary barriers. It sets a code of conduct for electrical corporations. It also provides fair treatment for community choice aggregation customers, also encourages local control, customer choice, and provides healthy competition in electricity procurement, which will benefit all customers, including bundled service customers. In our committee hearing, we took numerous amendments recommended by and put forward by committee members, all of them taken, and we've narrowed the bill, refocused the bill, and as a result, we have now a neutral position by the Coalition of California Utility Employees, and I thank them for that neutral position. We have support from the Kings River Conservation District, California State Association of Counties, the League of Cities, Sierra Club, and a long list of local entities who were stymied in their efforts to establish community choice aggregation. And I'll close my presentation by reading to you a letter of support from the Kings River Conservation District. They said, in our effort to implement a community choice aggregation in the San Joaquin Valley, Kings River Conservation District experienced numerous obstacles. SB 790 would promote competition by lifting as many of the barriers that have been prevented, which have prevented local agencies, including the Kings River Conservation District, from implementing CCA. We've worked hard to make sure we find that delicate balance, to make sure that bundle customers are treated fairly, that CCA customers are treated fairly, and that should local governments decide to use this opportunity provided by AB 117, it's in their discretion that they're able to do so without interference. I would ask for your aye vote.
Discussion members. Senator Rubio.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President. Members, I stand in support of this bill, and I'd like to make two specific points. First, this is important for communities to have a choice, and specifically in the Central Valley, San Joaquin Valley, Kern County, and as the author had stated, San Joaquin Valley, they are looking to have an option today, and this bill moves one step closer to being able to accomplish that. I want to commend the author for his hard work and taking a slew of amendments in committee and his willingness to continue to work with the stakeholders as recent as this afternoon to continue to amend this bill so that it has a fair balance in moving forward and giving people an option in moving forward. So I want to thank him and urge folks to vote aye.
Any further discussion, members? Senator Leno, quick close.
I want to thank those who provided the bipartisan support in Policy Committee and ask for your vote today.
Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. No. Cannella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Tedlew. Carolou. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. No. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. No. Wyland. No. Yee.
Call the absent members.
Yee. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Dutton. No. Gaines. Tedlew. Carolou. Negrete McLeod. Runner, Semidian. I. Vargas.
Call the absent members.
Ye, I to no. Oh, ye, I.
Members, he's been working all day, so let's just, one answer. We'll call the absent members from the top of the roll.
De Leon. I. Gaines. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. Negrete McLeod. Runner. Vargas.
Ayes 24, noes 12, measure passes. We are at file item 60. Senator Huff, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 161 by Senator Huff, enacting to pupil health.
Senator Huff.
Thank you, Madam President. I bring before you today SB 161, a bipartisan bill which simply codifies what schools have been doing for a decade. SB 161 will allow volunteer school employees, in the absence of a nurse, to be trained to administer emergency epilepsy medication to a student suffering from a life-threatening seizure. Epilepsy affects over 90,000 children in California and claims the lives of 40,000 Americans each year. Uncontrolled seizures can damage a child's developing brain, can impact academic performance, memory, learning, and result in socially emotional challenges. Without treatment, within just minutes, seizures can lead to brain damage or even death. Thankfully, there is emergency medication that can be administered in the event of a seizure. Diastat is FDA approved, that is safe and effective. It was specifically designed to be administered by people without medical training. The medication was not designed for nurses or doctors. It was designed for moms, for dads, for siblings, school employees, and other lay people. That's what the FDA approved it for, lay people. This drug's been used in schools in California for 10 years without incident. In fact, the real harm results from what the Board of Registered Nursing has advised under current law. They've advised to refrain from delivering the medication. That is what creates the risk for a child who needs to be treated within 1 to 5 minutes. Diastat is just as safe, if not safer, than the two other emergency drugs school personnel are permitted to use under current law: glucagon for diabetic comas and EpiPen for allergic reactions. Diastat is very safe, effective, 10-year record in California with 0 incidents of a problem. SB 161 is supported by the medical community, including some of the world's premier pediatric neurologists. A couple of them were in committee to testify. It is supported by parents, school districts, disability rights groups, and the Epilepsy Foundation. I urge your support on this critical legislation.
Discussion, members? Any discussion? Seeing none, Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson. I. Berryhill. I. Blakeslee. I. Calderon. I. Canella. I. Corbett. Correa. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. Dutton. I. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Hancock. No. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. I. Kehoe.
Aye.
I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. Semidian. Steinberg. I. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. I. Wolk. I. Wright. Wyland. I. Yee.
Call the absent members.
Corbett. No. Correa. I. DeSaulnier. Leno. No. Negrete McLeod. No. Pavley. Runner. Semidian. I. Wright. I. Yee.
Ayes 32, noes 4, measure passes. File item 61. Senator Hancock, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 490 by Senator Hancock, an act relating to corrections.
Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, SB 490 streamlines the Office of the Inspector General of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. It eliminates the unnecessary use of peace officer status in jobs without peace officer duties and saves the state over $5.5 million. The bill focuses the functions of the agency on duties that allow it to continue as a watchdog over California's prisons by continuing the duties of the Bureau of Independent Review, the Medical Inspection Program, the Rehabilitation Oversight Board, and the vetting of wardens. Members, in a time of fiscal austerity, SB 490 is about being good managers of public money by eliminating unnecessary peace officer status and streamlining government functions, saving the state millions of taxpayer dollars. I thank Senator Anderson, my co-author, and the committee for their work on this bill and would ask for your aye vote.
Further discussion, members? Any discussion? Is there objection to a unanimous roll call? Any objection? Then we will make a unanimous vote on that. Ayes 39, noes 0. Measure passes. Next is file item 62. Senator Price, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 411 by Senator Price and Acrolein to Public Health.
Madam President, currently there are hundreds of private unlicensed home care agencies and at least 100,000 caregivers in California that operate with no oversight or regulation while caring for a rapidly increasing number of vulnerable elderly. SB 411 seeks to remedy this lack of oversight by requiring all private unlicensed home care agencies in California to be licensed by the Department of Public Health. The bill also has several key consumer protection components. It requires a certification of home care aides to ensure proper screening and training, private home care agencies to annually assess their employees' performance and effectiveness, including on-site supervision, and background checks and fingerprinting through the Department of Justice, and a minimum amount of training. We have continued to work with the opposition and have taken all amendments in the Appropriations Committee that remove all general fund costs from the bill and also reduces the cost for facilities to be licensed. SB 411 is about strengthening our consumer protection and safety for our elderly. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Discussion, members? Senator Alquist.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, I rise in strong support of SB 411. You may recall that my late husband, Al Alquist, passed away in 2006, and he lived to be almost 98 years old. And I had the honor of taking care of him, mainly myself, about 95% of the time, but there was about another 5% when I had other obligations. And I remember using a home care agency at one point and just assuming that it was licensed and that the people who worked for the agency didn't have any criminal backgrounds. And I was really shocked to realize that that is not the case. There are 26 states that do require this licensing and do require background checks. And I would suggest that for seniors who need this kind of home care and who pay privately and who are left at home alone many times with this home care worker, this is the least that we can do, and I ask for your support.
Senator Vargas.
Thank you, Madam President. I also rise in strong support of this measure. This is a measure that provides strong consumer protection for families who hire home care workers by requiring workers, whether they work for the agency or not, to have a Department of Justice background check, tuberculosis check, and a minimum standard of training. That's why the consumer advocates, including the Alzheimer's Association, the California Alliance for Retired Americans, the California Senior Legislature, the Congress of California Seniors, the Gray Panthers, California, and the Older Women's League of California all support this consumer protection measure. Would ask for your aye vote.
Members, any further discussion? Any discussion? Senator Price, you may close. Oh, no, Senator Price, you may close.
Appreciate an aye vote. Thank you.
beautiful in its brevity. Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Calderon. Aye. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. Smidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee.
Call the absent members.
Yee. Aye. Blakesley. No. Correa. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Aye. Wyland.
Ayes 25, noes 13, measure passes. File item 63, Senator Padilla. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 26 by Senator Padilla, enacting the prisons.
Senator Padilla, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, as many of us have come to know and appreciate all too well, smuggled cell phones in our state prison system continue to be a problem. In fact, a problem that is not only dangerous, but growing. We don't just suspect, we know that inmates are using cell phones to order murders, organize escapes, facilitate drug trafficking, control street gangs, and terrorize victims. In 2006, the number of phones confiscated in our California prison system was 261. Last year, that number reached 11,000. And in the first few months of this year, we're now on pace for that number to reach 13,000. In the meantime, in the last 5 years, 43 states, along with our federal government, have acted to crack down on the problem. Yet here in California, our nation's most populous state, where the problem of cell phones in prison is the biggest, we have yet to do so. There's been repeated legislative attempts, including last year, when this legislature, on a bipartisan basis, put a bill in front of Governor Schwarzenegger to crack down not only on inmates who unlawfully possess cell phones, but also on the people who smuggle them into prisons, whether they're corrections employees or not. Governor Schwarzenegger inexplicably vetoed that measure. Today, things are different. We not only have a bill at the federal level, thanks to our own United States Senator Dianne Feinstein, we have a new governor. A governor who most recently served as Attorney General and has a unique appreciation for the issue and the potential danger. The bill before us today is a straightforward bill with a deterrence to both smugglers of cell phones as well as the inmates who are caught with them. The bill won unanimous bipartisan support in both Senate Public Safety as well as Appropriations Committee, and I ask for your aye vote.
Discussion, members. Senator Harmon.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in strong support of this bill, even though, in my opinion, the penalty portion of the bill is inadequate. It's just a misdemeanor. I think very strongly this should be a felony. I know we have a policy in committee, that Public Safety Committee, that we're not going to enact any legislation that calls for new felonies. But this one, more than any other situation I've seen here in California, cries out for felony situation. So, yes, it's a support, but I hope you can bring it back to us, Senator Padilla, sometime soon with the felony part.
Any further discussion, members? Any further discussion? Is there any objection to a unanimous roll call? Any objections? Seeing none, then ayes 39, noes 0, measure passes. File item 64, Senator DeSaulnier. The Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 575 by Senator DeSaulnier, enacting to employment.
Thank you, Senator Pavley. Members, in 1994, California led the country and the world when it passed the California Smoke-Free Workplace Act. 1998, that went into place to protect Californians from secondhand smoke, which to this day, in spite of all the good work we have done in this state, in this country, is still the third largest reason for preventable death. This bill will bring us up to a national standard that, unfortunately, since 1998, we have fallen behind. The Center for Disease Control in Atlanta says that 25 states plus the District of Columbia are 100% smoke-free when it comes to indoor smoke. We have fallen behind. This bill will remedy that and bring us up to that standard which we at one time led the world. It does a lot of things, closes loopholes that we allowed for in 1994. It changes the number of rooms in hotels, for instance, from 35% non-smoking to 80%, eliminates smoking in lobbies and things like that. One controversial part of this bill that we have removed while working with people in tobacco shops and specifically cigar shops is we have taken the provisions around them out. We'll continue to work with them, not on this bill and not in this session, to try to find some remedy between the sponsors of this bill and the owners of those facilities. But because of that, the opposition from the cigar industry and tobacco industry has been removed. I would ask you to join the sponsors and me in supporting this bill, the American Cancer Society, the Lung Association, the Heart Association, the public health officers, and vote in a positive manner.
Any debate, members? Any debate? Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. No. Corbett. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. No. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members, please.
Correa. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Aye. Wyland.
Ayes 25.
Wyland, no.
Ayes 25. Noes 14. Measure passes. File item 65. Senator Evans. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 163 by Senator Evans and Act relating to attorneys.
Senator Evans.
Thank you, Madam President and members. This is the annual state bar dues bill. The amendments to the bill were approved yesterday in the Judiciary Committee on a unanimous bipartisan vote. The bill revises the makeup and the composition of the State Bar Board of Governors. And in doing so, it uses the recommendations by the majority and the minority reports that were issued by the Bar's Governance in the Public Interest Task Force. It's a compromise. It reduces the size of the State Bar Board and revises its composition to create a larger proportion of public members and making the protection of the public to be the highest priority of the governing board of the bar. I ask for an aye vote.
Discussion, members? Any discussion? Is there objection to a unanimous roll call? Then we'll have a unanimous vote. Ayes 39, noes 0. Measure passes. And our last item on the file, we'll go back to the beginning, and there's some on-call items, but our last item on the file is file item 66. Senator Woke, the Secretary will read.
No. Thank you.
Oh, well, anticlimactic. All right. Senator Woke passes. That is completes the file, members. We have a couple of bills on call. I'll go through the file one more time. There's just a handful of bills. If you want to take them up, speak now or hold your peace until January. Under motions and resolutions, let me put the following items on the inactive file. Number 11, SB 129. Number 15, SB 932. Number 52, SB 890. Let's see, on call. Be happy to. Under motions and resolutions, I move 3 items to inactive. File item 11, SB 129. File item 15, SB 932. File item 52, SB 890. We have 3 items on call. No, I think I've got them. Let's see. File item 13. Senator Evans, do you want to lift the call on that and close the roll? File item 13, members. Call the absent members.
Correa, Huff,
Yeah, go through them. That's all right. Keep going.
Carol Liu, Rubio, Rubio I, Runner, Vargas, Wolk.
Ayes 18, noes 16. A measure fails. File item 14. File item 14 on call. We'll lift that call. File item 14, call the absent members.
Correa, DeSaulnier, I, Negrete McLeod, Rubio, Runner, Vargas, Wright. Wright, no.
So we've completed the roll. Ayes 17, noes 18. Measure fails. It is eligible for reconsideration. Without objection, reconsideration is granted. Ayes 39, noes 0. Alrighty, what have we got now? 18? File item 18. Members, file item 18, Senator Corbett. Lift the call on file item 18.
Hernandez, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Runner.
Ayes.
Rice, no to I.
Call the absent members.
Hernandez, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Runner.
Ayes 19, noes 17. Measure fails. Oh, beg your pardon. You're replacing the call.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Senator Harman, yes. What's your point?
If my hearing was correct, I thought you had announced the vote, and once that's done, it's over.
Senator Harman, without a doubt, I announced the roll. It was my error. I failed to hear Senator Corbett, and I would ask your indulgence and allow me to put it back on call again.
I'll yield to Senator Blakeslee.
Senator Blakeslee?
I'd like to appeal the ruling of the chair.
All righty. Just one moment, gentlemen.
every day. Madam President,
Senator Blakesley.
I withdraw my appeal.
Thank you. I appreciate the courtesy. Then Senator Corbett's bill, file item 18, is back on call. Members, we have the consent agenda and gubernatorial appointments, Senator Steinberg. That is file item 8, I believe. Yes. File item 8 only. The Secretary will read. Oh, Senator Steinberg.
Thank you very much, Madam President. This is the nomination of Sandra A. Thompson as a member of the Hastings College of the Law Board of Directors. This nominee was heard yesterday, approved on a vote of 5-0. I urge an aye vote.
Any debate, members? Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Cannella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Pavley. Price. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Weiland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye. Anderson. No.
Ayes 36, noes 1. The nominee is confirmed already. I knew I had the word. Members, we'll go to the special consent calendar. That is file items 93 through 122. The Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 664, 944, 946, 139, 61, 103, 127, 179, 215,
Special consent
298.
calendar is deemed read. Members, any objection to the unanimous roll call? Seeing none, special consent calendar is adopted. Ayes 39, noes 0. We have one item on call. Senator Corbett, what's your pleasure? Senator Steinberg.
Thank
the
you.
desk is clear other than the on-call item.
Let me briefly adjourn in memory of one of our veterans, if I may, please. A young man by the name of Joseph William Schultz, who was a Green Beret in the Special Forces unit of the 3rd Battalion of the United States Army, was killed recently in Afghanistan. This young man was a former press aide to former Governor Gray Davis and served as an appointee of President Bill Clinton to the United States State Department, the Middle East Desk, and others. After 9/11, he decided to give up his career, so to speak, like Pat Tillman, I guess, and so many others, and join the Army. And he gave his life in service to his country. And given his connection to our work here, I thought it was appropriate to adjourn in his memory and to all the soldiers who have sacrificed so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. We all offer our thanks to all the military personnel this Memorial Day week. Members, any other announcements? Otherwise, the desk is clear except for the one item. You're ready to lift the call, Senator Corbett? We'll go to file item 18. Call the roll.
Hernandez, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Runner.
Senator Corbett, can I close the roll? Close the roll. The ayes are 19. The noes are 17. Measure fails. Members, Senator Steinberg, the desk is clear.
Very much, Madam President. Session will resume at 2 o'clock on Monday. 2 o'clock. One time only. I'm serious. As the calendar begins crowding again as we get into budget season, we're in budget season. We try to finish the budget. Monday will be the only time we go at 2 o'clock. After that, it'll be at noon. I'd ask members next week, beginning Wednesday, to clear your calendars, including through the next weekend, as we work to meet our June 15th budget deadline. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. Senator Wright, I see your microphone.
Just an announcement that Monday, the 6th, will be White Suit Day. Monday, the 6th.
Monday is White Suit Day, Senators. Remember to wear your white suit. Everyone, we appreciate all the desk's work today and the sergeants. Thank you. Members, we're adjourned.